have a good time, there is a threat of growing violence hanging over the LGBTQ community. In addition to law enforcement, there are some groups committed to shielding Pride attendees from all the hate. Michael Abeda caught up with one such group today, and Michael, they have a non-violent response to that hate.
Yeah, Kelly, they don't want to brawl or cause trouble. They just want to absorb some of that hate so that way others don't have to.
Our next event coming up is July 1st.
Usually at LGBTQ events like Denver's Pride celebration, Eli Bazan is working. He's one of the co-founders of the Parasol Patrol, a group of volunteers that tries to separate event attendees from protesters.
What we do is we use our rainbow umbrellas as shields to block the signs in the faces of protesters. We use our hearing protection for our little ones,
absorbing the heckling and name-calling so that kids and parents don't have to.
Quite honestly, some of the stuff they yell at these kids is pretty traumatic.
You expose your children to this filth. Sexual predators.
But despite what they may hear, the Parasol Patrol doesn't start trouble.
We don't engage with them at all. I'm not there to yell back.
You make somebody, I will break that motherfucking arm and use it on you.
This is all being filmed.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything's
He's got mace in his fucking hands. Fuck you.
Good. After how we've been treated out here, why wouldn't he?
I'm not going to change their mind. They're not going to change my mind.
We're trying to. You're trying to what?
I'm trying to get him to back up. He's in our face, dude. Have you looked over
You don't have to be here.
Or don't you care? Yeah, we do.
You do? You don't have to be here.
Open your eyes, bro.
Call the cops then.
You want to call the cops?
Eli says he follows extremists online to see where they're planning to show up. Recently, he's seen an increase in hate.
The rhetoric in the last 2 months has been the highest I've seen in the last 3 years.
He says, take, for example, the extremist group that was recently caught raiding themselves to disrupt a Pride event in Idaho. The Parasol Patrol says they've seen threats made towards Denver's events as well.
And there will be protesters. Tomorrow in the parade, there will be protesters.
And while the Parasol Patrol aims to protect, they aren't vigilantes.
These aren't ballistic shields. They don't stop bullets. They're just umbrellas.
They report threats of violence to law enforcement, and they do it so everyone can feel loved.
It helps them understand that they're not alone, that there are people just like them.
They went into Sunday with the same objectives, to shield participants and kids from protesters who come by.
The whole point of that is to be completely non-confrontational, not to engage the protesters in any way, and simply to provide a happy, lovely rainbow shield to keep them from having to see that hate.
I'm trying to get out of here.
I love your following too, great.
Thou shalt not judge. Thou shalt not judge. Talk about everybody.
Yeah, I got many. I need Christ. I think Christ says I don't want to be. Because I know at the end of all those who do not believe the gospel. You must be born again. Except a man be born again, you will live one day. You must be born again. You must be born again. You must be born again. Christ is the revelation of God. The world for saying
The event did see a small group of protesters and even had a bomb threat that was confirmed by Drag Queen Storytime. But despite all the hiccups, visitors say they still enjoyed themselves.
At 7 a.m., if I were to venture a guess. We also want to thank the officers who are here today. Having our backs.
Talk to me about what Parasol Patrol is.
Yeah, so my name is Eli Bazan. I'm the co-founder of the Parasol Patrol and director. This is my partner, Pasha.
Yeah, I'm the other co-founder. Pasha Ripley, she, her. And we started the Parasol Patrol in 2019. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
And today here in Bill Fountain, absolute best case scenario. There was a lot of chatter online leading up to the event from Blood Tribe, Proud Boys, Project 171, all these different groups that had made it known they were going to come out here today. And they will no doubt be online tonight claiming how they wasted all of our resources. But you know what? Having this community come together and do this is what it's all about. This is the best case scenario for us. You know, I mean, yeah, we traveled out here, but having the community come together and being able to talk to them about being able to help out with the Pride, tomorrow and Sunday, and getting everybody to come together and support from the community. We had our rainbow wall up on the main street there, and the majority of everybody driving by was supportive, which is amazing to see in a small town.
Yeah, we've been at some places where people have honked for Westboro Baptist Church.
So what we usually do is we will escort families from their vehicle past protesters and inside the venue. For those of you who are in Wadsworth, you saw kind of a worst case scenario of what we do, having a separated parking lot and having to walk through 400 protesters. That was a worst case scenario. Today, absolutely perfect. Everything worked out great. We had no protesters to worry about at all. It was just a great day.
Yeah, and we are non-confrontational, 100%.
You're getting in my bubble.
Yeah, I'm in your bubble.
So I'm asking you to back up.
Yeah, okay, keep backing up. You're not going to be in here in our area.
We do not engage with the protesters. We don't butt heads with them.
So you're going to have to back up or you're going to get arrested.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
We don't bring signs out back to kind of contradict what their signs. We feel like it's important for the kids to keep them as safe as possible. And when people are yelling back and forth and we're trying to reduce that chaos, it's very counterintuitive.
You're not going to record kids, I'll tell you right now.
Sir, this is an open event.
You're not going to record kids.
I can record anything that's out in the public eye.
Okay. You're not going to video kids, buddy.
This video is for my own safety.
Good.
Has nothing to do with the kids, sir.
Wonderful.
So stop blocking me. I'm asking you to get your umbrella out of my face or you're going to regret it. I promise you.
You threatening me, sweetheart?
Oh, that's a promise.
You threatening me?
Get in front of me one more
You
time.
threatening me? You want to go to the
There's
hospital,
the
you wanna
cops.
go to jail?
There they are. Great.
So, yeah, that's not very glamorous, but that's what we do.
Can you talk about community defense as opposed to just relying on the police to protect the community?
We protect us, right? I mean, I think today was a perfect example of seeing a community come out to actually stand in the gap. And we had folks out here who didn't know anybody else they were coming to protect, but they were willing to come out here and put themselves in the gap and stand and be that peaceful barrier. While we work with police when we have to, and we try to have I made sure to introduce myself, told them who we are, what we do. I don't rely on them to keep us safe. That's what we do. And don't get me wrong, on days like today when I see a police presence driving around, I see police here on bikes, they were here, and that was wonderful. But I prefer to just rely on us to keep us safe.
Yeah, today was kind of the best case scenario in that the organizers did communicate with law enforcement and told them we did not want a heavy police presence here.
Having locals say no, we are not going to have Nazis in our park. We're not going to have Proud Boys walking free. When the community comes out in force, it's a beautiful thing. Back in 2019, the owner of Mile High Comics was getting ready to start up a monthly all-ages drag show. He shared with me a lot of the mail, a lot of the threats he was getting. Bomb threats, we had death threats, we had all kinds of stuff coming in before the first event. So the first event, it was just me. I was out there doing my best to kind of escort folks from their vehicles past protesters and inside.
Here in Colorado, we had easily 40 to 60 protesters showing up at almost every event when we started. We knew who the protesters' leaders were. We knew where they lived just because we were so familiar with them because they came to every event.
It was a monthly event, and every event, the number of protesters kept doubling. Pasha decided to kind of ask for help, and we had over 100 folks show up. And that was kind of the beginning of this may be something.
Protesters say all the time that we're trying to turn their kids gay. To me, we're not trying to turn kids gay, we're trying to keep the gay kids alive.
North Ohio is and probably will always be my worst case scenario.
There were some protest groups that came out. Of course, there were Proud Boys. Of course, there was White Lives Matter. So we're in Ohio, and we are here for an event. It's a color run, and we are expecting protesters.
And we had at least 60 volunteers show up. We had the entire street lined with umbrellas. And there was a Proud Boy Scout who came down to the corner. And he stood there and was on his phone and even told some of our volunteers that Proud Boys were on the way. And he sat there on his phone for a few minutes and then he left.
Oh, things have increased dramatically. It is scary out there, but we don't want parents to be afraid.
That happens a lot. What we did in Bell Fountain, Ohio was rally a community. They may not have had any protesters that time, but I promise you, they will be there when they're ready. And that's what we do. That's why we travel, is to rally communities. It makes my heart swell every time the communities show up. I am a former Marine, something that, that nowadays is kind of tough for me to navigate. I've always been a very proud Marine, very proud of my service, but to be quite honest, nowadays, the U.S. flag has become somewhat of a dog whistle.
A Parasol Patrol group set up in every state. What we don't have are active members in every state. So we're actually working on that. And we will hopefully have,
like a starter pack with, I think 10 umbrellas, 10 sets of ear protection, and a banner so that, and we also go through some guidelines we have about not engaging with the protesters.
Round 2. Leave me alone, dude. It is for me. This is for everybody. This is a park for everybody. I'm a taxpayer. You have no right to do this. Now get away from me and back up.
And I know this sounds strange, but not even running up and hugging the kids, because the whole point is to make them feel comfortable and safe and at ease. And maybe they don't want to hug right then. And also coordinating with, city officials wherever they are and stuff, so that it's not a big surprise that they're just showing up.
We have folks outside screaming that we're grooming kids, we're doing all this inappropriate stuff, and I've invited people, please come inside and sit with me and watch and see what's going on. None of them do. We have had protesters that have snuck inside to events and videoed, and that video never makes it online because it doesn't fit their narrative.
If you don't want your kids to go to a drag queen story time, great. Don't take them. There's all this conspiracy theories about, this cabal of satanic worshipers that, traffic children. And even though everyone hopefully knows that is absolutely not true, these are the same people who think that JF Kennedy Jr. has come back to life.
You got it. He keeps walking into me. What am I supposed to do? Back it up and he walks into me? Fuck that.
You came over by me, sir. I went over there. I didn't see you, and then you walked over to me. Leave me alone. You're harassing me. In a minute, this is going to turn into harassment, okay? Please go somewhere else.
He's talking to the lieutenant, okay?
Just ignore
He's
it.
emotional,
Away, right?
just like you're emotional.
Yeah, but I don't lash out like this. He doesn't have a right to lash out.
He has a right to protest, just like
yes,
you
but
do.
this is not protesting.
Okay.
And I just gave him a pass when he assaulted me, and I told them I didn't want to press charges.
Okay.
So this is the second time, and now I'm at my limit. Okay, he just assaulted me. I told this officer I didn't want to press charges, and now I've had enough. And I have a right to feel that way. He does not.
And that's really unfortunate and really hard for me as a Marine to kind of watch that be a symbol of it's become a symbol of hate. I mean, not for everybody. And I understand that some people do fly the flag and still, it's not quite that.
Eli is the most important person on that line. We walk out to a car and approach them and say, hey, we're from the Parasol Patrol. There are protesters here. Would you like us to escort you through? And if they say no, that's fine, but usually they appreciate it, and so we walk them past, and he's really good at organizing all that.
I just asked you to please not follow me.
You don't have to listen to your request there, big guy.
Okay.